There's a moment in every woman's story, a quiet, aching pause, when she asks herself, what if I've done everything right and I still feel lost? Sue Monk Kidd, author of The Secret Life of Bees. That is where this episode begins. Welcome. This is Majesty Sussex Report, and I'm Antonio. Thank you for taking some of your valuable time to be here with us. The second episode of Confessions of a Female Founder with Meghan dropped, and Meghan is having a conversation with Reshma Saujani. Reshma Saujani is a prominent American lawyer, politician, activist, and entrepreneur who has dedicated her career to advancing women's and girls' economic empowerment. Born on November 18th in Illinois to Gujarati Indian parents who had fled Uganda during Idi Amin expulsion of Asians in the early 1970s. Sanjani has built a remarkable career spanning law, politics, and nonprofit leadership. In 2010, Sanjani made history as the first Indian American woman to run for U.S. Congress, challenging incumbent Carolyn Maloney for New York's 14th congressional district seat. Though unsuccessful in this bid, the campaign proved transformative for her future work. During her congressional campaign, Sanjani visited local schools and witnessed firsthand the gender gap in computing classes, an observation that would later inspire her to found Girls Who Code. She also served as New York City's deputy public advocate and ran for public advocate in 2013, coming in third in the primary. Meghan opens the door to not just conversation, but to confessions. And this time it's with Reshma Saujani, the powerhouse behind Girls Who Code and Moms First. But before she was a best selling author, a lawyer, a founder, she was a girl in Kmart sneakers, fighting her way through classrooms that didn't see her, trying to blend into a world that never made space for her, for brown girls. And yet, she never lost hope. Not when she was bullied, not when she was told her name was too hard, not even when she was beaten up for showing up as herself. Instead of shrinking, Reshma chose something radical. She chose to teach difference, to organize. In her freshwoman year of high school, she started a club called PRISM, PRISA, which stands for Prejudice Reduction Interested Students Movement. I must say something here. Sounds like the club. I didn't start it, but the club I belonged to in high school. It was, oh shoot, I don't, it was called Women Against Sexism, Racism, and there was one more thing. I can't remember now. But anyways, and so I went to this to the the teacher who sponsored the club and to the executive um, student board, and I said, "Well, I would love to join this club, um, but would you consider calling it People Against Sexism, Racism, and so on?" And they're like, "Well, no, we it's Women Against Racism, Sexism, and so on." And I was like, "Well, can I join? Because I don't care really if it's named People Against or Women Against. I just thought if it said Women Against, it was just for a women's group, right?" So I they didn't give me an answer immediately, but they give me an answer later that day, and they're like, "Yes, you can join." And in many discussions we had, uh, within 2 months, they did decide to change the name to People, and then there were more people actually who joined the club because my main question was, are you looking to have everyone included, um, or are you looking to have a space where girls, women can come together and discuss how these things affect them directly and how they can implement or recommend solutions and so on. And anyways, it was an all integrated um, everyone welcome club. Oy. Here comes the guy again trying to change things. I man, okay, I'm going to leave that aside. I'm not going to get into too much of like what my thinking was. My thinking was really honest and it didn't have anything, you know, behind it. I just had a question. Anyways, I just shut up now. So Prism, um, that very long acronym. So Prejudice Reduction Interested Students Movement. And while the name may have been um, very clunky in some ways, the courage was crystal clear. That was her pivot, not away from her pain, but through it. What unfolds next in Megan's conversation with Rishma is not just a founder's journey. It's a human blueprint for how to rebuild yourself when every plan, every identity, every path you've held onto crumbles. Rishma worked towards a single dream: to run for office. It's why she pursued Yale Law with a relentlessness that would leave most breathless. She didn't get in until she did. On the very third try, after a funeral, a plea to the dean, and a grind that saw her, at the end, not having made one single friend. But here's the twist: she gets the degree, and it still doesn't deliver what she thought it would. How many of you have had that? Like you've worked, like when you're in high school, as an example. So you work really hard. You study. You do what you need to do. If you have a part-time job, you do your job. If you're enroll in extracurriculum, sports or activism or whatever, you're consumed by that environment. But also the reason behind it, for most people, is that you're going on to secondary education, or You just want to get your secondary education and then go out into the workplace or the workforce. And the school I went to, there was no such thing as, well, I have, I don't want, I'm just going to say it. The, the, the impetus was not to graduate secondary and go into the workforce. It was tunnel vision, one track, and it's to university, period. I remember I said to one of my teachers, um, I said, because I wanted to study design at one point in my life. And I said to her, I said, I think I may want to study design. And for that, I would go to college. Now here, there's a difference between university and college, right? So she looked at me in in dismay, and she said, Antonio, are you out of your mind? And I was like, what did I do? What did I say? She said, no, no. No, you're headed to university. And I was like, well, I I kind of want to do design. That's what I thought, right? And it was just very. She's one of the teachers actually that has influenced so much. She's had so much influence on my life, um, at that stage of my life. And she said, okay, because I told her this. It was towards the end of the school day. I was heading off to some club I was in, and she said, let's talk about this tomorrow. And it's like, okay. So when I sat down with her, she kind of convinced me. One of the sentences she goes, "You are university material. You're university material." I was like, "Am I?" But I did end up going to uni. It's but part of my point is, at the end of all of that, right? Of secondary, heading to university, and then you graduate from secondary, you get your diploma, you do the stage thing, and your parents are happy, and everyone's, and then you finish, and you go, you do your nonsense with your friends, and half people get drunk and blah blah blah. And then days that follow, you're like, okay, so I'm headed to university or college or whatever. And there's this, once you start that second whatever it is, you're like, okay, so I guess this is because it is a difference, right? And for me, heading into uni, it was very sort of like still a okay transition. Even though university, you had to be a lot more independent thinking. There was no teacher telling you or to remind you needed to hand in this, or make sure you do this or whatever. It was like, you either show up, hand in your work, do your research, whatever you need to do. We don't care, right? But at the end of university, there is that moment where, when if you've got like a degree, whether it's arts and science, bachelor of arts, or a non-specific um, degree, like you're not a medical doctor, you're not an engineer, and you sort of, for me anyways, I was like, so now what? Because I'm interested in so many things, I'm fascinated by so many things, but now what? Where do I go? And I while I was thinking about it, I got a job at and I got a job at a financial institution. And this particular financial institution, one of the branches that, well, the branch that I worked out from, was in a wonderful neighborhood. It was in a Greek neighborhood. And I'll say that, it wasn't, I don't know, finance and that stuff wasn't my thing, really. The best part of that job was the community, was the people, I just loved them, and oh my gosh, every older Greek lady was trying to marry me off to their granddaughter. Antonio, Antonio, you Greek, right? You Greek. I was like, no, I'm not Greek. Come on, you Greek. Tell me you have some Greek somewhere. No, Mrs. Papalapagos, I don't have any Greek. I don't think I do. I have everything else, but not Greek. Oh no, no, you have everything else. You have Greek, because Greek we have. Everybody have Greek. Okay, but was fascinated, and I mean, I did go back and I did my teachers college. I went back to teachers college. Oh, yeah, okay, that's a long story. But the whole idea is that you've dreamt about something. You are so focused on that determined dream, and then you achieve whatever you need to achieve in order to get there, to realize, is this it? Is there has to be more, because you know what you've sacrificed, you know all the hard work you've put into it, and there you are. I remember um convocation in the in university, and I'm walking across that stage debating whether or not I was going to bow or kneel. It's like, I don't want to kneel in front of no white man. And I didn't kneel or kneel, whatever it is. It was so funny though. In my head, I kept going, okay, Anton, you need to make a decision quick. What are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? Ah, boy. Anyways, that is my point. That is basically my question. After you've worked so hard for something and you've achieved it, but then there's this numbness for some people, anyways, right? So that is a situation basically in which Reshma finds herself. So now what? So now what? So she gets the degree. She gets the degree. And it still doesn't deliver what she thought it would. She runs for Congress. She loses, in her words, badly. The next morning, alone in a 400 square foot apartment, broke, jobless, and no one calling her or returning her calls, like no one. And yet she wakes up and whispers a revelation many women never let themselves believe. And that revelation, and I'm getting a little thing in my throat right now, so I'm going to just breathe. I'm not broken. That's the revelation. I am not broken. Mm. I think we should have that framed somewhere in our frontal part of our brain to remind ourselves that we're not broken. And even if we feel that way, that we can make ourselves better, that we can do something about that feeling. But external factors don't have the power to make us feel that way unless we allow them to. And society has encouraged us to allow, right? Because it's the best way to sell us more products, more things, for us to feel insecure, for us to feel like we're nothing, for us not to dare to, for us not to want to think outside the box. We're kept in a state of brokenness. So that thought alone, I'm not broken, is revolutionary. Revolutionary. I mean, when I heard her say that, I went, oh, oh, wow, wow. Because so many times, when you get that feeling, that and you do your best, you're kind of fighting it, but you're like, everything is against me. I just feel it no matter what I do, blah, 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 blah. But if you can just have that sort of armor that says, hang on a second. You don't come here with your nonsense. Number one, number two, number three, and number four. And just in case for security, number five, I'm not broken. Your loss. Right? I mean, it's the moment that echoes through this entire episode. The failure didn't destroy her, it opened her. And Megan meets her there. Mm, with an honesty that doesn't posture, it pulses. Together they unpack the myth of resilience, the lie that women must smile through miscarriages, perform through heartbreak, grin through sickness, and never admit when the light is fading inside them. Oh, oof. I'm telling you, good stuff. Reshma shares how she's stand on stage speaking to thousands of girls just hours after oof, hours after learning her pregnancy would not continue. How she learned to detach from grief. How she mistook strength for silence. And how finally, one day, she asked for help. Ooh. That moment, the bravery of saying, I need help. Megan calls it the bravest thing a woman can say.
What's the bravest thing you've ever said?
Help. Asking for help isn't giving up. It's refusing to give up.
And I'm just going to say this just for the heck of it. It's the bravest thing anyone can say. I understand the context in which we were saying a woman can say, because women usually don't. I think many people in general, we don't understand, we don't know how to. I find it also extremely prevalent in certain communities. In immigrant communities, oh, you don't go around asking for help. No, no, no. Mm-mm. I remember when I told my father was going through a really, really rough year in university. And what an awful year that was. And I was losing. I didn't think about it as my light, but I was just slowly and surely just shutting down. And there was very little light coming into that room any longer, right? Very little. And I was heading off to class. And before I exited the door, my dad said to me, he goes, "Hey, I've seen you in a while. Like, what's going on with you?" And I said, "Huh? What? What's going on with you?" ¿Qué te pasa? Huh? ¿Qué te pasa? And I said, "I don't know that. I'm just said I feel like I'm depressed. Like I just like I feel like I'm I don't know maybe I was like depression or something." My dad looked at me and he almost laughed at me. His next thing was he goes, "Are you white? Are you white?" And I'm looking at this man and I'm going, "I'm not, but you are." Okay, Mister. What's this now? We're gonna have the race talk. And I look at him like I'm thinking, does he expect an answer? Because I don't know. Like I'm not gonna answer him. It's obvious I'm not. And he goes, because listen, white people have the privilege of saying they're depressed. Okay, they have all sorts of things: anxiety, depression, this, that. He goes, no, 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 no. We don't get that stuff. He goes, have you ever heard someone back home saying they have depression? He goes, what the crap is that? I'm depressed. And I just thought, I need to get out of here like now. I need to leave as fast as I can because I can't, I don't want to have this conversation with my father right now because I might just either start crying or get into a really silly argument with him. And I'm not in the mood because actually I just feel like throwing myself in front of the bus. And him saying what he was saying to me just did not help. Did not help. So I was like, I need to go. I'm going to be late. Right. But that feeling, that emotion of feeling broken and all the lights going off, right? Just going off. We all, one way or another, at one point or another, know what that feels like. If you don't, then I count yourself lucky. But it's imperative, regardless of gender, that you ask for help. Ask for help. In Black and brown communities, we don't. And there's an epidemic of mental health issues that then manifest themselves in other things in other ways, right? The bravery of saying, I need help. The Duchess of Sussex calls it the bravest thing a woman can say. And it is. It certainly is. There are all types of royal families. And here on this channel, we support the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and happy to do so. Now, if this is your first time around this channel, do consider subscribing. If you are a subscriber, make sure you have your notification bell on. We appreciate all the likes, all the shares, and leaving a comment. We think the Sussexes are the best ones to support. Because we live in a world where asking for help can be read as weakness, where women, especially women of color, are expected to save everyone. And that's not even a lie, not hyperbole. They're expected to save everyone. Everyone else before they ever save themselves. Where black women, where the burnout, where many women look at that sort of burnout badge as if it were something of excellence, like a badge of honor. Where stepping down, stepping back, or pausing is seen as failure, not the revolutionary act of making space. But Reshma, stepping down from Girls Who Code, not because she failed, but because she succeeded. And she chose intentionally to pass the torch to a woman, a black woman, a woman of color, Dr. Tarika Barrett, giving her not just the title, but the sustainability, the funding, and the support that would let her strive. She didn't announce it to the press with this sort of big press store. She didn't even tell, as she said, her husband. She just got on a train and said, I'm ready. I'm ready. And this is also after her having multiple miscarriages and a life just of going and going and going and going in order to not disappoint others. And when she sent the email to the world saying she had stepped down or was stepping down, and they reserved time for her to get all these phone calls and emails and so on, and her phone didn't ring, the emails didn't come. However, for Tarika's, the phone calls came and the emails came. But for Ishma, they didn't. And that silence, as she says, that's when you really confront your ego. Because here you are, the head of everything, busy, 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 busy. Everyone wants a piece of you. You, you know, you've just suffered a miscarriage, and the next 2 days you're on a plane going to give a speech here, going to meet these people. You're the important one. And then you decide to hand over the reins, and no one calls you. But now they're calling your successor. Right? So what does that do to the ego? That's when you learn why so many people refuse to let go. Because we've confused our identity with our output. Because power and presence get tangled with each other. Because when the spotlight dims, we then ask, am I still worthy? What is my worth? Am I still worthy? But Meghan's voice brings it full circle. Because when you step out of that light to let someone else shine, you find your own again. Oh, say that again. Because when you step out of that light to let someone else shine, you find your own light again. Not the light that gets applause, but the one that lives inside you, the one that was there when no one called, the one that still burns, still guides, and above all, still heals. And as they speak, two women, both mothers, both founders, both warriors, you feel the pulse of legacy. You feel the fire of suffragettes and organizers and survivors. You feel the whisper of every woman who's ever wondered if it's okay to stop, to rest, to say, I am enough, even when I'm not achieving. They talk about motherhood, about miscarriages, about titles that matter more than CEO, the title of mom, about letting the body rest, about refusing to believe you must choose between being a visionary or being a present parent. And finally, they talk about the next generation because girls today are watching. And if they only see burnout, breakdowns, self sacrifice, they'll say, no, thank you. But I'll add one more thing. When they see women attacking other women, when they see the way the British media has attacked Meghan Sussex, when they see these other women writing their idiotic articles asking why Meghan did not support Catherine with her cancer diagnosis when we don't even know what cancer diagnosis she had. These idiotic things that they have written. And they do not, however, ask the question, why didn't Catherine support Meghan throughout her experience within the royal family? It's not a one-way thing. But girls are watching. Girls are watching. And we need them to say yes, yes to entrepreneurship, yes to uplifting each other, yes, yes to impact, yes to joy, yes to power that doesn't cost your health, yes to being seen in all your softness and all your strength. So the question is, so what do we do? We tell the truth. We show the bruises. We cry in meetings. We choose rest. We pass the mic. And most of all, we keep hope alive. And that goes for everyone. Because as Reshma says, we may not win in our lifetime. And when she said that, we may leave this world with women having fewer rights than when we were born. But we keep fighting anyways. Because behind every successful woman is self-awareness. And ahead of her is a legacy that says, we did not break. We broke open. We broke open. What an extraordinary, excellent episode. If you haven't listened to it yet, please go and listen to it. It is absolutely beautiful. And I'll leave the link in the comment section or in the description section for you to click on. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time with us. I really, really hope you got something out of it. I've tried my best to kind of bring everything together, bring the sentiment of what the podcast was all about. And I hope you enjoyed it today. Question being, what did we learn from all of this, right? For those who are entrepreneurs, for those even who are not, working moms or grandmothers, stay-at-home moms that have to juggle so much. What have we learned? I send you all wide open big hugs. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us, supporting this little channel. And take care of yourselves, okay? Take care of each other. Be kind. Bye for now. Mwah.
Hey, what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves me speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all. Hey, what's your story? A kick-ass mom and 40 under 40. It's soccer practice in your high heel glory. Yeah, you do it all. Hey, buttercup, won't you listen up? I'm a woman, stronger than what you would believe. Way more than what's plain to see. You either got it or you don't. I'm a woman, just watch what I'm about to do. Wouldn't get in my way if I was you. You either get it or you don't. Hey, tell me something. How do you do it all while never budging? You rule the world but make it look like nothing. Such a boss. Hey, true or false? It take about 20 men to do your job. A kingdom never fails when there's a queen in charge. Girl, don't stop. Hey, buttercup, won't you listen up? I'm a woman, stronger than what you would believe. Way more than what's plain to see.